Recently I traded in my Nikon D810 for a Nikon D780. It's almost a perfect camera except for a couple things, and today I'm going to show you how to take care of one of those things. I traded in the D810 for the D780 because I really wasn't using the D810 very much. It doesn't have an articulating screen, and I found that it was getting more and more difficult looking through the viewfinder to see what my compositions were. And I had gotten so used to the Nikon D500 and the Nikon D850 with its articulating screen that it really kind of spoiled me, and I found myself not using the Nikon D810 very much. So when Nikon had a trade-in special for the new Nikon D780, I took advantage of it and traded it in on the D780. Now I love the D780. In fact, I use it more than probably my D850. It's small, it's light, it's easy to carry around, and as I get older, I find that weight starts playing a bigger role in how far I go out in the field. So to have a lighter, smaller camera is really advantageous. But there's a couple things about the D780 that I wish were different. And one of them is right here. Now, all my other cameras, from my Nikon F4 to my Nikon F5, my D500, the D810 even, the D850, they all have this shutter on the eyepiece to block stray light from entering when you're doing long exposures or you're away from the camera. And you may think that it really doesn't affect your images, but I did a test recently where I had the lens cap on my D780, and I shone a light from my headlamp through the viewfinder, and it does let light in and affect your images, especially around the edges. When I had my red light on when I was doing some astrophotography, it really showed up, and it was something that was going to be really difficult to try and eliminate in post-production. So all my other cameras have this little built-in shutter that you can just close off the eyepiece and no light can come in. All my cameras. This is a Nikon D5 film camera. You probably wonder why it doesn't have a LCD screen on the back. That's because it's a film camera. But the Nikon D780, because it's considered more of a consumer camera than a professional camera, doesn't have that internal shutter to be able to close off the eyepiece. Now, the solution that Nikon came up with is not the greatest solution. What they want you to do is they want you to take this part of the eyepiece off and slide this little cover over the eyepiece. And you can see it's not the easiest thing to do. So now the eyepiece is covered. So when I'm done taking a long exposure, or I want to run and gun and shoot looking through the viewfinder, I have to take this off again and then put this piece back on in order to use the viewfinder. Now, I don't know about you, but this little piece right here, it's going to get lost. In fact, just trying to put it on right now, I almost dropped it. And if I was out in the forest with a lot of leaf litter and things like that, and I drop this, chances are I may not find it again. So that's one of the things that I really didn't care about the D780. It's kind of funny how something so small can be a source of irritation. So I came up with a solution where I can just leave this at home. I don't need to bring this with me out in the field. I don't need to take this off. I mean, what would happen if I drop this and I couldn't find it? You know, I don't know how much these things are, but I'm sure they're probably not cheap. So my solution is simply to use gaff tape. Now, I don't know a lot of photographers that don't carry gaff tape with them. It's so useful for so many things. I know a lot of photographers will actually take a roll and wrap it around their tripod leg, so no matter where they go, As long as they have their tripod with them, they've got some gaffer's tape. I keep at least one roll in every camera bag I have. I even keep a couple spare rolls in my truck. So if for some reason I'm out and about and I don't even have a camera bag with me, I always have gaffer's tape. This is the 2-inch roll gaffer's tape. I also have bags of 1-inch thick gaffer's tape. And I like to buy these rolls that are smaller, so they're easy to fit in your camera bag or your vehicle or even your pocket. And there's not a lot of gaffer's tape. Most people, when they think of gaffer's tape, they think of these big rolls like this. And, you know, they're great if you're in a situation where you need to tape down cables or something like that. But nature and wildlife photography, you really don't need a big roll like this. So I tend to buy these smaller rolls, which are a lot handier. And that way, if something were to happen to it, if I lost it, if it got wet or something like that, it's not a great loss. Matter of fact, this bag that I got off of Amazon has 4 1-inch rolls. So all you have to do is tear off a piece of gaffer's tape, and it's like a fabric-based tape. And the thing that's nice about gaffer's tape versus like duct tape or any other kind of tape is it's easy to remove. It won't take off paint or anything like that. So it has just enough stickiness to it to stick with it to whatever you need to apply it to, but it's not going to damage surfaces or anything like that. And it's easy to tear. I don't know if you've ever tried to tear duct tape before, but you pretty much need a knife or a pair of scissors. But anyway, all I do, just cover up the eyepiece with a piece of gaffer's tape. If I want to do some run and gun and look through the viewfinder, I can just take it off, stick it someplace. I set back up, I want to do a long exposure or something on a tripod where I'm away from the camera, stick it right back on there. The nice thing about gaffer's tape is it sticks for quite a while. You can sit here and stick it wherever you want to stick it, cover it right back up, and you can take a long exposure or step away from the viewfinder and not worry about light entering the camera. So it's a nice, simple fix. Like I said, gaffer's tape has a million different uses out in the field. So I would highly recommend that you invest in a few rolls. I'll put links to some of the rolls that I have in the description below. And that's it. It's just one thing that makes the D780 a better camera and avoids having to carry this little thing around. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. I'd also appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting out a new video every week on different aspects of nature and wildlife photography, so I hope you join me. I'm Kevin J. Railsback of Nature Photo Studios. Good shooting.